Well, I should go back in time, 1981. That's when I get into real profession, which is military service back home in Sri Lanka. I joined the officer cadet school. That is where I was trained to become an officer and a gentleman. And I was commissioned in 1983 in the rank of a second lieutenant, and I served for 14 years and got a premature retirement at the rank of major. And then, due to the country's political situations, I realized that bringing up my children is not safe back home then. So I decided to migrate with the family, came to Canada. Like every other immigrant, it was not easy. You start from the scratch. You start everything from the scratch, completely new culture, new world. My English communication skills were good that time, so thank God for that. I was able to get a decent job, and I joined the correctional service of provincial Ontario government, Ministry of Correctional Services and community safety. So I became a correctional officer. Training was about 6 weeks, finished, and now entering into a second career in my life. That gave me a totally different perspective of life itself in Canada, where the normal life continues in the day-to-day life here. The public, what they don't see is the dark side of the world. That's where I work, basically working with the undesirables of our society. They have been housed in certain facilities, and our job is to take care of those people and produce to the court, and that's our main job. So at the beginning, again, there's a new culture. There's a culture shock. You have to get used to it. The language of the culture within a culture itself is very harsh. So I have seen, probably you guys have seen in TVs, but I'm living it. So I continued to do that job for 20 years. So working in corrections for 20 years, it's not an easy thing. Most of all, what happened is that everything I learned to become an officer and gentleman and in a decent lifestyle, you started slowly losing your character by working for 12 hours, sometimes 16 hours with this in this harsh environment with these inmates, and the different culture with the officer cadres, and that totally started changing my character and my life and all that. And that I started thinking, but I have no choice. I had to take care of my family. The salary was good, and so that reason I had to sacrifice all that, my personal feelings, and then I had to put up with that, and I had to adapt and change to suit that environment. And finally, after 20 years time, I found my family was doing well. My wife has her own job, my children have their own jobs, and they're all adults. And one of my sons got married, and the daughter recently got married. Before that, I decided that after 20 years, my family is okay. I don't have to go through this. Money was good, job security was there, but I personally am losing a lot of my personal characteristics, which I am not. So I want to regain myself, and in order to do that, I had to get out of that place. And the only way I looked at it is to retire early. So I got the retirement with a little pension, and only I retired from that job, government job. And then what I wanted to do was, I always loved to do real estate. I had interest for a long time, but I couldn't do it part-time while working a full-time job and a career. My wife is a mortgage broker, And so that time she was encouraging me to take those courses and all that. Then when I decided, I started taking the licensing courses for real estate. And I was surprised myself, like when I started taking the course, I didn't know if I can go back to school and study. But to my surprise, I did it well. First, I took the mortgage course and I passed that with, I couldn't even expect I will get 90% on that. That encouraged me to go into real estate and took the first course. It was very hard initially, but a lot of hard work. When I passed the first one, then I realized I am going to go into this. Then I completed every month, one course each. 5 months time I finished that, got my license, and slowly now retirement came into, and then I started this new career for me. This is my third career in my life. When it comes to business, it is one of the harshest things for a lot of people is that to completely switch over from a traditional job where everything is set for you, you just do your job and get out of it, go home, do whatever you want to do. That is no longer there anymore. You're more free to do. Your time management, you have to take care of it. And you don't have a uniform anymore. So you have to buy your own clothes, you have to dress appropriately. And then most importantly, your language skills and character have to be changed. That's for me. I'm talking about the 20 years of change in my life. I had to reverse it to bring it back to my normal self to suit my new environment. And most of all, and then when in the real estate, I have been looking up to most of our community members who are already in the job, and I learned from them by watching them, and then by meeting a lot of people, especially networking in different environment, and that gave me a perspective of what is happening in the community, and I met a lot of people, and then that way I made sure my character remains the same, and then slowly I learned to communicate in proper manner, and so that sometimes the jargons from workplace try to pop in between, so I had to be careful. Certain jargons if I use, that is very rude in the general public, so I purposely focused on cleaning my language, and so that was the hardest part for me, to transition from the traditional job to a independent entrepreneur or becoming a real estate agent. So what I see and what my experience within the past 4 years and few months is that it is rewarding, and it's rewarding to be working with people psychologically. It gives you a great satisfaction when you close a good deal, not the monetary wise, but the thing is the satisfaction that you see in the client's face and how they interact with you, and that's I thought, okay, this is what I wanted to be doing. So that gave me a good motivation to keep going. And so what I realized is that you just focus on people's needs and what they want, just the people. And just like my family, I focused their family or whatever their needs are, and then you take care of it, and the money follows whenever, and that happens. You don't focus on the money, but you have to focus on the people and their need, and make sure they are getting what they want, and they're happy, you're happy. So that's what I learned. So this is the 3 segments of my life, or 3 chapters of my life. This is my final chapter, I believe, and that transition is happening and happened. Now within those past 4 years of experience, I feel confident that I can be a better real estate or very successful real estate salesperson in the future. So I am successfully transformed myself into a businessman, and that's what I want to say. How long I have been a member, I don't exactly remember. Maybe 8 years or 7 years I've been a member. Although I was not an entrepreneur, my wife was. So through her, I became a member as well, because I had this in my mind. I wanted to do some business even at that time, because the previous job was taking the toll on me. Um, so minding that, so I want to meet and mingle with business people, and to get that into me, as to transform myself in the future. I need that culture. You can't just drop the job and next day you can't be a business person. So I was slowly, I want to associate with other business minded people, so that I can absorb that culture and skills or contacts and networking and all that. So the Chamber of Commerce actually gave me that opportunity. When I became a member, that I met so many entrepreneurs and business people in our community. Some of them are doing very well, very extremely successful. Not only that, their willingness to help the others, and that matters. When you talk to them, they are very positive minded, and a lot of people express a lot of they exchange a lot of information, which helped me to absorb and understand the business world, and in general the general public world, because most of the time I was spending in a restricted environment. My workplace was, so where general public I don't associate with. So this Chamber of Commerce gave me that opportunity by becoming a member, to get to know what is happening outside of my workplace and outside in the general public, or in a business environment, because you don't work in a commercial building or commercial environment. I don't get that culture. So in order to get that, this is Chamber of Commerce became the best place for me, because of the same reason, because I got to know so many people. I made a lot of contacts and connections, and I learned how the business world is functioning and how successful they are, how they manage their time and money and people, all those skills. So I think that is one of the wisest decisions I made. And especially for young people, there were programs at different times, and that's, I think that's a right decision and good decision I made 7 or 8 years ago. I'm not quite sure when I joined. Yeah. I think when I decided to retire from my previous work after 20 years in 2018, and become a independent um, real estate salesman, I didn't know where I was going into. It's like walking into a tunnel. I can see the light far away, but I'm going to go through it. Why? The risk I was taking was that if I worked in that workplace with a 6-figure income with overtime per year, I will have to work till I turn 65, 3 more years. I will be working another like 7 years at that time, 9 years, 7 years, and that is far too long, the tunnel. I don't want to go through that. So I made the decision again without knowing which direction I'm going to go. So after taking the decision also, the tunnel, the light is far, because I had to go through that. There are a lot of areas in this business world I have completely no experience in, or little experience, and real estate almost zero experience. But I'm going to go through this. Why I did this? Because I felt like I was imprisoned when I was working. When you're working, everything is set for you. You will be working for someone else and someone else's term, and for that you have been given a salary, and then you're happy with the salary, you spend your money and you live your life. That's the same cycle, and you have been controlled. If you want to be free, give up your job, be independent, use your brains, gain your skills, make the right connections and contacts, and start working. It is the hardest thing to do at the beginning, until it's like going underground to mine for gold. You can keep on mining. You will get one here, one there, small ingot there, small ingot there. You keep on going until you hit the core. Until such time you had to keep working. The moment you give up and walk away, probably there's a biggest gold ingot is sitting on the other side. You just missed it. But you have to keep on going and working until you find it. But in order to do that, you can't just get your brain running everywhere. You have to get the knowledge and bring it together. It's like a flashlight. You will know where you're going, what direction you're going, and then you start going. I think I'm at that point right now because I have gained enough experience to know where I'm going and which direction I'm going, and I love it because I think this is the freedom I was expecting. When I was working for 20 years, I was basically living in prison because of lack of what is happening outside. I have no idea. Now I have got that light. I know where I'm going, what is happening in this world and the business world, and how to get the money or how to become rich. I know all this, what is happening. So now I see the light in the tunnel becoming bigger and bigger. That means I'm getting closer. So, but the most importantly, what I'm doing it, the path I'm taking, the way I'm going through challenges, issues, problems, negativity, positivity, all kind of emotions comes in and play with you. I started enjoying it because I didn't have this kind of experience before for a long time. Because almost I would say my life was so comfortable. Because you get a good salary, you only focus on your job. It's plain and simple. But you are imprisoning yourself. You're not getting any experiences. You're not challenging anything. There's no challenge. You get bored after when you do the same thing over and over again. Although the money was good, you're bored. But here you have more options. Even if the income is low, but you can still do a lot of things, a lot of researches, a lot of knowledge, and that is important for me. I don't know about the other people, but for me, that became the most important thing, to enlighten yourself as to what is happening in the outside world and how to get there and where do you want to go and how to get there. So everything is out there. So a lot of playgrounds to play. So now I see the tunnel getting bigger and bigger, the light at the end getting bigger and bigger. That means I'm getting closer in the sense, I don't know what is at the end of it, but I like to go through it. I like to go through that darkness to see what is in that darkness. Well, improve the skills means, as I think before I explained as how my life transitioned. So skill level, before the skills level I had was totally different. I had to go to gym and make sure my physical body strength is being maintained in the previous job. In this job, I had to work my brain to get more knowledge so that I know what is happening in the real estate industry. At the same time, I can give the right advice to the customers and clients. So that is where I had to work harder, not in the gym anymore. So that is where my skill level, in the sense we have regular training programs at the brokerage as well as outside. There are a lot of studies and researchers are available, and I keep that as a regular routine. I go through all these and study and keep yourself updated with what is happening in the field. That's the only thing I do, and other than that, I still working on towards getting my brokerage license next year. Until such time, I need to get more experience. So I keep on working on my experiences and reading a lot and researching a lot and meeting people and upgrading my knowledge and all that. When you say about competition, I don't see one of the things. Yes, there is a competition, but when you start thinking as a competition, especially if you are doing business within the community, I don't want to look at it as a competition, because competitors, if there's two people join the same class at the same time, then I would say there's a competition. But there's no competition here, because some people are veterans and some people are highly successful. These are mentors where you can learn from them. I don't look at them as competition, because I'm not competing for money, because I'm learning from each and every one of them and I'm growing. But when it comes to competition outside, in the sense, in the business sense, there may be competition. I'm not competing with anyone, but the competition is against myself. And in the competition is that I want to be the best real estate agent. I want to be the best person to help others to find their houses or homes or get their best investment property. And that is the biggest competition I have against me and my former self. And I'm trying to improve and to go to that level. Okay, in the business world, as I told you, I would say physically getting into business is about 4 to 5 years experience. But in general, with my little experience, what I can tell you for the younger generation, you guys are lucky. Why you are lucky? You have one of the assets, which is time. You are young. You are eager to learn. You're eager to make money, eager to become rich, eager to be successful, eager to get out there and explore the world. You have lots of time in your hand. That's one of the biggest assets you have. If in 60s, if I can switch my job, a big risk I took of losing a big chunk of money, income per year, and take the risk of trying something totally new, that because I just want to take it as a challenge to face the world, learn more new things, try out new things and new experience in my life. I don't have much time left for me, but within that, I just want to enjoy it in a different perspective. If I can do that, you young people, you have lots of time to, the whole world is a playground. Go experience it. Don't lose hope, or don't think you can, never think you can't do it. Whatever you want to do in this world, you want to achieve something, dream it, work towards it, and you can get it.